Yo, 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 what up, comiXsense crowd, community crew? We are back again with another shop talk with comiXsense. I'm Issue X, co-host
Comic
comiXsam.
Sam, what's
Um,
up?
and today we're gonna kick it about Grimm. But before we get into it, we gotta keep the lights on. That having been said, if you are watching on Facebook, jump over to YouTube, like, thumbs up the video, thumbs down the video, subscribe. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you read the banner at the bottom of the screen, like and follow comiXsense on Facebook, join our comiXsense group. That is what it is. So today, Sam,
I'm
we're gonna
saying
be
give the thumbs up. I don't know what you're
yeah.
talking about.
I mean, listen, don't go there and do nothing. Do
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
Go to
Write
the
some
YouTube
comments, give us
page.
some feedback. We're always looking to learn and grow, but go to the YouTube page, like and subscribe. You know, we're excited to get your input and continue to build this community as we keep going. I'm just
Indeed.
gonna say, Ish, 2022 is looking mighty grim, my friend.
It is
Maybe the
looking
hot
it is looking grim. It is
It is
looking
looking
grim
grim
in
in so
2022.
many
So
ways,
before we get into
right?
it, right? Before we get serious about it, right? How many
Yeah.
runs do you have?
What
I'm,
do
I'm
you mean?
seeing grim behind you all over your wall. Like how
How many runs
apropos.
of Grim do I have right now? Um, I mean, I think I went big, dude. I think I have 50 issues of A, and
Mhm.
then
A
so
number
far
1A.
1A, yes, and I've
Mhm.
got at least 5 of each non-incentive variant, and at least 2 of every incentive right now. I
So I'm,
also
I'm
was
looking
lucky
at a
enough.
signed. I'm looking at a signed 1 in 100 behind you. I'm assuming that's Stephanie Phillips. Shout out to Stephanie Phillips.
That is Stephanie
Signature on that
Phillips.
book.
Shout
Shout out
out
to Pulp
to
seven one
Pulp
six
716 for
for.
helping me to get that, and the
I
one per
see that
store
one per
also
store. I see
right
that one
there.
in 75.
Uh-huh.
I don't
And
see
then
that one in 50 up there.
well, the one in 50 is not shown because I've got the secret variant. Right now, it's not released. I was fortunate enough. I've purchased some artwork before from Veronica Fish, who
Hmm.
is one of my favorite Sabrina artists. So I
Hmm.
reached out to see if she had any artwork, and she was able to get me an artist print, which is hanging up right there. And it's going to be
Hmm.
the Boom exclusive. She had some comps,
Oh,
and
we're jumping the
this is
gun here.
signed.
But
It's signed and
go on.
remarked, or not signed and remarked. It's signed and made out to me. So you see the tarot card variant right here.
Yes.
I just got that in the mail a couple days ago. So I feel very fortunate to be one of those folks for her to send one.
So you're not able to show your 1 in 50.
Oh, I mean, I could show you the one in 50.
I mean, you can't show me the secret one.
Oh, the secret one is the Veronica Fish. Right now,
Okay.
it's
So,
secret.
oh,
Want me?
all right.
You want me to grab it so you
Yeah,
can see it
sure.
up close?
Please,
Print is right up there.
please.
Yeah, of course. Look at this.
That's phenomenal. So that's going to be the Boom exclusive.
That's going to be the Boom exclusive, I believe. Veronica Fish is going to be putting them on her eBay, I believe, towards SDCC, she said. Which I think is pretty awesome because she gets to capitalize on the popularity of Grimm, which is good for her, you know?
What about your actual 1 in 50?
Actual 1 in 50, I think I've got. Which one's the 1 in 50? In the Del Mundo? Yeah, because the
Yeah.
1 in 25 was the foil. I've got a couple of those, and then I've got I like the Del Mundo a lot.
Okay, so now let's get serious. I have tons of runs. Obviously, we were all in on this book. We were all in on this book
Well,
prior to its release.
The previews that came in other books cemented it for me, you know.
Well, yeah, yeah, there was a Grimm preview in. Oh, which comic did they drop the Grimm? Which Boom book had a
The
Grimm
Alice.
preview? Oh, Alice Ever After.
Number one.
Alice
that book was hot
Alice
for
Ever
a bunch of
After.
reasons,
Alice
but
Ever
it
After
got
had the Grimm preview in
really
there,
hot because of that.
which Alice Ever After was Boom's highest selling title of 2022 until Grimm dropped. So let's start, right?
Yeah.
Because Boom in 2019, Boom had been around. Obviously, you have titles like Lumberjanes, you have some older titles.
Boom.
Yeah, Boom in 2019,
Boom.
starting with Once and Future, which you and I both agree is probably the second best produced comic book in print, period.
I love Once and Future. I mean, we could do a very long multi-part breakdown
video on Once and Future.
Of Once and Future, which we probably should.
should.
I don't know if there's one out there.
We probably should. So we get Once and Future. A couple months later, we get Something Is Killing the Children. Drops from Boom, which again, we're talking about successes right now. We're not talking about high print run successes, but we're talking about aftermarket successes on this particular book, right? Yep. And then we get We Only Find Them When They're Dead. Another not aftermarket, but print run success, high circulation, a lot of titles sold. Sleeper, dope book. Then we get an Eve, which ran concurrent with Layla Starr, right? Yep. Big books from Boom as far as in some cases aftermarket value, but in other cases just copies sold, right? Copies ordered, let's say. Yeah. Copies ordered, not copies sold, but copies ordered by retailers, right? And then next thing you know, we get a Grimm, right? Boom, Grimm, no pun intended. Boom, Grimm drops on us in 2022 amidst everything that's happening with Marvel dropping key after key after key after key, tons of hot books coming out in the first half of 2022. Here comes Boom with another one, right? Yeah. So when you talk about print runs, comiXsense as an entity, this is our highest selling title this year. We sell more copies of Grimm. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. We sell more copies of Grimm. We sell out of Grimm. I probably order
not only for the shops that are ordering it, right? Mm-hmm. And for you all, but it's also incredible for Stephanie Phillips, who is
shout out to Stephanie Phillips. We love her.
Buffalo native, and
awesome. She's not native of Buffalo, but she spent a lot of years here.
Spent a lot of years here, right? And supports a lot of shops here, and has signed books at no charge. Has been gracious enough to do so, and I am so thrilled that she has a massive hit on her hands.
I am too. I've been following Stephanie Phillips since Nuclear Family. I think her work on Harley Quinn is a definitive run. If not the definitive run, certainly a definitive run. Loved her run on Harley Quinn. Tweeted out to her, shouted her out, interviewed her, obviously, a year ago, kicked it with her. Awesome person. So glad to see this being successful. Glad to see her winning. Than this book. So
you know what's cool too, Ish? Like, so you said it's your highest selling book, right?
Mm-hmm. We've ordered probably across the 3 issues 1,000 copies.
Wow.
Across 3 issues, including multiple prints.
And that's incredible.
Right.
So you look at number 1, right? Number 1 sold out quickly. It was sent back to second print, right? I have the second print cover right here if you want to.
You can throw it up.
Let's see. Oh, I gotta pop the images up to share. Hold on.
The second print, we got a variant cover too, which was cool.
Yeah. So second print, which is a beauty.
Yeah, I actually like it better than all of the first print covers, with the exception of the FOC.
There's
with the exception of the J Lee.
If you want to pop it up on screen. Flaviano is just phenomenal, you know.
Yes, like his work, like New Mutants, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
and then
shout out to Flaviano, the one name artist. I'm gonna throw the comments up on the screen. Shout out to everyone that is watching. Shout out to Rich Barlog. Shout out to Jason Robinson. Shout out to everyone that is watching. So, go on.
Well, my mouse just died, so we're gonna have a problem here in a second. But you move from, you know, the second printing into a third, right? Second print hits the secondary market.
Gets allocated.
You know, Rich Johnson from Bleeding Cool said it's going to get heavily allocated.
And it did.
Definitely allocated, right? It hits, the 50 plus mark. And I think it's settled down at about $30 right now on eBay. And then the third print comes out, which you don't think is going to be a shocker. to
Right.
anybody because of how absolutely bonkers, number one sold and then number two is reselling. And then third print, when you posted up how much it was going for, it took me aback. I was surprised. And I'm going to try and get my mouse back up and running.
I remember sending you the message when I saw what the third prints were doing.
Yeah.
Well, so the thing with this book, right? And let's talk about
just a trade dress.
No. It's the same cover as it's a color change logo.
Yeah,
it's a blue logo
here
of the first print. And I like the third print better. I think it presents better because of the blue logo.
Yeah. I shared it if you want to click it on screen.
Yep. And let's talk about these print runs really quick.
Look at that. Right? It might be my favorite one.
Yeah. I told you I like this cover better than I like the Jay Lee cover, but I really like this cover. That blue logo really does something for this book.
It's
against
incredible.
Those flat blacks and grays, and really does something for this book, makes it stand out. So let's talk about print run. Because there are discrepancies in the collecting community, especially, how collectors get, right? They jump on a book. They really support the book. They love the book. They want to hoard the book by.
I feel personally attacked right now. What's happening? No,
no. What I mean by hoard, because we obviously hoard the book. What I mean is they don't want. Shout out to the collectors out there. This is not a knock on you. If you are guilty, it is what it is of what I'm about to say. You see this in websites Facebook groups dedicated to singular books, right? Yes. They don't want higher print runs. They wanted to have a lower print run so that they can achieve some sort of aftermarket value on their favorite book.
Yeah.
The reality is, for me, it's like, I want this creative team to be successful, because if I love the book, I want it to get in the hands of people so that they can continue putting the book out, so that we can continue getting great stories. It increases its chance of us seeing it manifest in some other form of media. And not only that, I support creators. That having been said, when we talk about print runs, this is a book that had, and I'm going to guesstimate here, we know Ross Ritchie over at Boom, because this book is successful, we're probably going to get a tweet in 6 months telling us the print runs and telling us which issue had the lowest print run and what have you.
He hasn't done that since Once and Future, right?
No, he did it for Something That's Killing the Children.
No.
Once and Future came after. You're
Once
right.
and Future came after, but he also hasn't done it since becoming CEO. So I wonder if those days are over, and we're just gonna have to, sit through a guessing game.
Right.
What are going to be some of the rarest? It's going to be. I'm curious about what the print run is on the second run versus the third. And then today they just announced and revealed the fourth print, which is the 1A with a yellow trade dress.
Right.
Who knows how far along we're going to get. I would love to see some original art,
Well, we're not going to see tons of exclusives, at least on the number ones. We know that.
No, yeah. The number one had an Ivan Tao. There was a Flaviano. Mm-hmm. There was a Zoo Orzu. And then you have this Veronica Fish, which is going to be Boom.
Boom. We know Boom's doing an exclusive.
Yep, which I heard was actually a exclusive that was turned down by a shop. Shocking.
Really?
Because I love it.
It's dope.
Right?
It's dope.
And then there is another Trade and Virgin set that has been revealed, but we have no clue when and where it's going to drop. So
to those listening in the community, I want to discuss print runs really quick, especially on indie books, right? So a successful indie book, Boom in particular, can have a print run of 65,000 copies, and that is considered successful. To put it in perspective, right? We only find them when they're dead, which was Boom's highest selling title at the time until Berserker dropped. Had a 75,000 copy, not necessarily print run, ordered 75,000 copies. So when you take a book like Grimm, which had 4 covers to include an FOC cover, and there were some shenanigans.
That surprised FOC cover, basically.
Right. So there's some shenanigans on it. But when let's just say, for the sake of conversation, that this thing has 100,000 print run. First of all, let's clarify that circulation and print run are not the same. They can be the same, they can overlap, but they are not the same. The print run versus what is circulated is not the same. meaning Diamond or a distribution center could be sitting on tons that just weren't ordered. They were printed, they are ready to go, they just weren't ordered. Thus, what is circulated versus what is in print is not always the same. That having been said, if you take a book like, let's say 100,000 copies of Grimm were ordered across 4 covers. So if you average that, we're talking about 25,000 per cover, and that's if they were ordered equally, right?
Yeah.
So we're not talking about high print runs in each cover. This isn't Berserk or Berserker, excuse me.
Which I'm happy about.
FOC, right? So a lot of people got stuck. Many retailers don't realize, and it always astounds me that they don't realize this, but many retailers don't realize that you shouldn't be ordering books, and if you're going to order books, make sure you check back Friday at noon, because Friday at noon is the absolute last minute where they can make changes to FOC. This matters. Books can be added to FOC by Friday at noon. Books can be removed from FOC by Friday.
That's some secrets.
Racial variants can be turned into open order. Yeah, Sam, I'm always dropping some stuff. Can be turned into open order by Friday at noon. Thor 1 in 25 recently was turned into a regular cover. A Daredevil 1 in 25 was just recently turned into a regular cover from a 1 in 25 by that Friday of the close of FOC. So what happened with Grimm was Grimm never drops the FOC cover until Friday. So if you go on Diamond and order Grimm, you're only going to see 3 covers. You will never see, they don't even add the FOC cover till Friday by noon. It had a 1 in 50 for Grimm #1. By that Friday, Boom did something really janky. Boom decided we're going to add an FOC cover by Jay Lee, and it was a dope cover.
I put it up.
Yeah, very, very dope cover. Going to throw that FOC cover up. This was the Jay Lee FOC cover. And then Boom said, we're also going to add a 1 in 75 and a 1 in 100. But the only way that you can get this 1 in 75 and this 1 in 100 is to order. Throw that Jay Lee cover back up.
Oh, yeah, there's the incentive.
That's the 1 in 75. So the only way you can get this 1 in 75 was to order at least 75 copies of the FOC cover that they added on Friday. Generally, when you order a racial variant, you have to order. However, when they added this 4th cover, the only cover that qualified you to get the 1 in 75 and the 1 in 100, you can throw that up, was the FOC cover. So they were forcing you to order ridiculously high quantities of this book. In order to get the 1 in 50 and the 1 in 25, you had to order 50 copies of any combination of the A through C cover to qualify for a 1 in 50 or 1 in 25. But to get the 1 in 75 in this Jen Bartel 1 in 100, you had to order 75 extra copies of the FOC cover or 100 copies of the FOC cover in order to get the 1 in 75 and the 1 in 100. And those books did not count towards a 1 in 50 or a 1 in 25. They did this at the last minute. And then because people were upset over the jankiness, you know, they did their FOC, then they went to take their family out or went on a trip on Saturday through Sunday or what have you. FOC closed on Monday. They were sitting on tons of potentially tons of FOC covers. See, prior to Friday, and they missed the 1 in 100 and the 1 in 75 and potentially the FOC cover as well. So we just want.
Oh, I think you froze on me.
Just to reiterate, we just don't know what type of circulation we're going to have on the first issue of this book. There were a lot of jankiness. Clearly, the circulation didn't matter. Number 1 sold out. It went back to print. The second print, the subsequent print was allocated. The third print, for some reason, is a ghost as well, which it didn't get allocated.
That makes no sense.
It's a ghost.
But it is. Yeah.
You know, it's a ghost as well. At least on a shelf, it's a ghost. So that having been said, I just wanted to give that little spiel. Sam, I'm going to give the floor to you. Let you share your thoughts really quickly, and then we're going to talk about the book proper.
I mean, let's pull it up. Let me pull up our main character, right? So,
Jessica Hero is dead.
I mean, she is dead, right?
She is dead. And then we're gonna get into some predictions on where you think this thing is going to. I want to get your opinion on the book.
So we're intro to Jessica Harrow. She's reaping souls, folks, you know, and
I don't see her.
She's right there.
Okay, I don't see her on my screen. That's okay, as long as everybody can see her. I can't see her.
I got her. So she's a reaper, and she's bringing souls across the river Styx, and reaping souls is like a business, I guess, because there's a ton of reapers.
Okay, so we're not talking about an original idea. You have a Grim Reaper, and then you have a ton of reapers.
Yeah,
we're talking about original take on an idea that has been done.
Yes, but what I really love about it is, you know, when you think of the concept of death, what happens after death in general, it has universal appeal, and to put a character to it, and then a system in place where, you know, it's a ton of reapers who are responsible for bringing souls to the afterlife in like a kind of like a waiting room when they get there. It's funny, but it's also a likable concept. And Jessica Harrow is a likable character also, for all her faults, but also the mystery surrounding her story. I mean, at the end of issue 1, she loses her scythe, and she takes a couple of her friends, her Reaper friends, to go get that back in the living world, and appears to actual living people. And no Reaper, it's stated, no Reaper can walk between the living and the dead except for the Grim Reaper himself. So that's where that intrigue and that mystery comes into play. Like, what is her story? Why is that the case? And they really dive into that a little bit more in issue 2.
And we'll get into issue 2 really quick.
Yeah.
I just want to take the time to shout out everyone that chose, all of the people in the Facebook community that chose to go ahead and watch this from YouTube. Peter Maresca, Jason Robinson. Shout out to you all. Really appreciate you guys jumping over to the YouTube channel and checking us out on YouTube. Love the support on YouTube. Like the video, subscribe on YouTube. If you are watching for the first time on YouTube, peep the scroll at the bottom, join our Facebook group, like our page, follow us. comiXsense.
So you're introduced in issue 1 to 2 Reapers. Besides Jessica, you're introduced to Eddie and Marcel, who are both featured on covers, the Frizen covers for 2 and 3, right?
Yes, first cover appearances. I wanted to get into that, right?
Yep.
We got first cover appearances in issue number 1.
Well, first appearances in the book, right?
Right. And then in issue number 2, we got a first cover appearance, Marcel, right?
Correct.
We got him on the 1 per store.
1 per store.
We got him on the 1 in 25.
Trade.
Right. Their offer is it 1 per store, 1 in 25, and the FOC. No. The C cover, the 1 per store, and the 1 in 25, all feature Marcel first appearances. So by issue number 2,
will be featured on the number 3.
Yes. And so by issue number 2, right, you covered issue number 1, and we're going to really talk about, we're going to give some critical analysis of the book. But by issue,
well, there's one more first appearance in issue number 1, and she has a bigger
role in issue number 2. She gets a cameo in number 1.
Yes, cameo
You're
number
talking
1.
about Adira.
Yes, Miss Adira, and then an unnamed Vincenzo. who we were
Right.
introduced to in number 2, right?
And
So,
we also get the first full of Adira in number 2. We're going to get into it, and we
Yep.
get a flashback of the Grim Reaper, and potentially we get the actual Grim Reaper on the last 2 pages. But we're going to get into it. So in number 2,
is it a flashback? Did I miss that?
early on when they're in the festival, at
When the
that
book
little
opens in
festival.
the festival, is that in the
Right.
past?
Right. It appears to be in the past.
Oh,
It appears to be
I thought it was in the now.
actually happening in real time. That may be
I
the
don't
case.
know. That's a really
That could be
good.
the case.
I have the picture of the Reaper, so you could see him. Just let me pull it up. Who we are thinking is
Could be the Grim Reaper. I personally think, spoiler alert, that it is going to be Jessica Hero is going to be the new Grim Reaper. But that's just, you know, we're speculating there. So to get back, right. I'm gonna actually pop that up.
And that's him at the festival, basically killing everyone who was there at the Day of the Dead festival. And then it cuts
Shout out to
right
Chris Johnson. Thank you.
into Jessica's story. You know, but it's interesting that they kicked it off with this, and they bookended.
So, right. So if this is a first full appearance, then we have a first full appearance. Stick around because more than likely we're gonna get a cover.
Oh,
We're gonna get a cover, and I'm gonna share a tweet in a little bit. But I just wanted to say I wanted to cover this really quick. So in issue number 2, we get the idea that the people we are introduced to in issue number 1, Vincenzo, Marcel, a few other people, are going to be her little crew, her little cast of supporting characters. Yep. They're going to be her little crew.
Appearance of Brian also, who's another fellow Reaper.
Right.
The interesting thing about it is they all know how they died, and Jessica doesn't, which adds another layer to that mystery, right? Why can she walk between the living and the dead? Why does she not know how she died? And why is it such a secret why
does Adira not want her to discover?
She approaches Adira to find this out and to go into the records room. And Adira goes, the only person who can go in there is the Grim Reaper. You know that. And she's basically prevented from getting in there.
And they're generally terrified of the Grim Reaper. You get the sense that there is an overarching fear.
There's that foreboding, right? But there's also like some underhandedness, because Vincenzo speaks with Adira saying, oh, the end is awake. So another entity known as the end. So that's going to be another character coming into play, at least I believe. And Adira's like, well, what Death doesn't know, he's not here right now.
Right.
So
now I'm wondering, are we overthinking?
Oh, I like that.
Perhaps I'm
Did you see that comment by Chris Johnson? Maybe Jessica is the daughter
of the Grim Reaper.
Hey, that. I like that theory. I like that theory because of what we see when she does hit the records room. She infiltrates the records room, and she's able, with the help of her friends, with the help of Eddie and Marcel, she gets in there. She gets a glimpse. I don't know if it's of her death, but she gets a glimpse of, I think, her being born.
Okay.
Yeah. We're getting right into it.
Confirmed that Stephanie Phillips, she knows him. They have a relationship. They've worked together, Stephanie Phillips and Harley Quinn, James Tynion, on Batman at the same time. We know this to be the case. I've talked to Stephanie Phillips. She's mentioned him. It would not be far-fetched for her to have had a conversation with James Tynion in these regards. That is what it is. It is great speculation nonetheless, but certainly great speculation. Glad you dropped that, Chris Johnson. So you left us off, Sam. We're in the archives.
Yeah,
right?
in the archives.
Jessica sees a thing, and she is stopped by Adira.
Yeah, and that's where we're kind of cut off.
And we get another form of Adira as well.
Correct. And then we get, see...
So, well, hold on, because before you go into that, when you speak of foreboding, we get a look into Jessica on these covers, right? When we see Adira, this other form of Adira, this skeletal form of Adira. We've seen that with Jessica. If you look at cover A of number one,
when she gets heated, when she gets emotional, she turns into that skull-faced Reaper.
Right. Like the actual skull face thing. Yeah, very interesting. So then on the last page, what do we get?
Last page, we get what looks like the Grim Reaper crossing the River Styx.
Returning,
yeah.
Because if you recall, the plot of the story is
across all those souls in the river.
And if you recall, the plot of this story is that the Grim Reaper is gone. We don't know where the Grim Reaper is. Jessica Hero cannot remember her life. She's the only Reaper who currently can't remember her life. The Reaper is gone. And right away, right? So issue number one, me and you had this conversation yesterday. So we might as well have it here live. I posited that issue number one.
Oh, you froze on me. So I don't know what you're.
I'm saying, can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
I'm saying that yesterday I posited that issue number one was good, not great, but good.
It's a taste.
You said something very interesting. You said it's about how it makes you feel when you read it, because I compared it to other books that had phenomenal first issues. This was a 4 to 5 minute read, right?
Yeah.
Then when you get to issue number two, you get your 6, 7, 8, 9 minute expository. There's a lot of exposition. You get this in issue number two. So, I mean, you really get in depth into this world, what goes on in the afterlife or purgatory or limbo or wherever it is that they are.
Right? Like, I mean, who knows?
Cross the river Styx.
Really like the world building aspect of this. I mean, some of the best books that we've seen have done a really great job of world building, either in the first couple issues or in the moment, right? And part of the appeal is trying to figure out, all right, not only the story of this character, but also what is this world? What are the other things to unlock and the mysteries that are going on? I think that's part of the appeal of Something is Killing the Children, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why it also took till issue 6 for it to take off. With this, we're seeing it much quicker, but I think it's more universally appealing. The concept of death, the story of the Reapers, it's a little bit more exciting also.
Speaking of which, when you said it took till issue 6 to take off. This is what we see in the indie world. Boom set that trend, but other indie books set that trend right. They write these books in arcs, 4-issue arcs, 5-issue arcs, in some cases 6-issue arcs. This is the gauge. Two things. One, if the book is going to be successful and a worthy endeavor to continue to pursue, and also to give the creative teams a break. If it is successful, store something. If 1 through 6 has been successful, number 7 is they're gonna pull out the stops. They did it with Something is Killing the Children. You got your first one per store with issue 6. They did it with Once in Future. So generally they gauge the market through the first arc. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because many people have been concerned with where this book is going, and Stephanie Phillips put out a tweet, and I'm going to show you all this tweet that Stephanie Phillips put out. And here it is. Stephanie Phillips tells us, Grimm number 2 is out today. And since I've had a lot of questions about the longevity of the series, it seems like a good time to say that Grimm will be continuing past issue 5. We have tons of stories to tell in this universe. Thank you all for the support.
I love it. I love it.
Right? Like this is big. For those who are collecting this book, for those who are collecting for aftermarket value, whatever the case may be, if you enjoy the book, whatever the case may be, we are going to get more Grimm. Do not be dismayed. Do not be concerned that There we go. Do not be concerned that this is just going to be a 5-issue arc and go away, a la Eve, which was disappointing. I need more Eve in my life. I definitely need more Eve in my life. Grimm is going to continue.
There's potential that might happen,
I think so.
Yeah.
I think Eve's there was enough demand for that book. Look at that 1 in 50. Well, we could do a whole show on Eve. That 1 in 50 is like the craziest boom 1 in 50 out, period.
It's a good time to buy Eve. Just
it is. And Layla Starr.
Yep. The other thing about this series that I think is really great, and if you look at what's the furthest place from here, right?
Mm-hmm. Image Comics.
Yep. There's music.
Another local Tyler Bosch. Shout out to Tyler Bosch.
Oh yeah. The use of music throughout issue 1 and 2, I think, is stellar too. The book opens up issue 1 with "Don't Fear the Reaper" by Blue Oyster Cult. It was playing in the car that guy ended up, dying. And then you go from Vincenzo telling Adira about the end is awake right into Eddie's like his room, his specific room in wherever all of the Reapers like hang out. He's playing "The End" by The Doors, which is fantastic. And Jessica Hara walks in and she cuts his music short and puts on "Rebel Girl" by Bikini Kill when they're about to walk into the records room. They're about to infiltrate it. So I think the use of music in this book, I hope it's something that continues because it makes it even more relatable. And Stephanie
even goes as far as to write the lyrics.
Oh yeah.
Across the page.
Right? Yeah. It's fantastic. And I think it's an excellent use of music in the book. You can hear it.
It's the thing, though, right? You see it with Radio Apocalypse right now. Randy's Radio Apocalypse is used with music, and you can actually play. He wants you to play the music that the radio DJ is playing while you're reading that specific page. And then what you said with what's the furthest place from here?
Got records,
right?
With actual records,
right. And
I've seen a lot of writers and artists drop like playlists on Apple Music and Spotify of like, this is the soundtrack to our book. And I just think that's incredible. And it makes the experience a little bit more immersive and appealing to a broader audience. And I think for me, that's the story of Grimm right now, is it's so appealing to new readers, people who have never read a comic, people who love comics, and especially those who have been riding this boom wave for the last couple of years. We've been waiting for another massive hit, and I personally believe we have it on our hands.
So I just want to say shout out to the spunky at Steph Smash Dr. Stephanie Phillips. She's all over the Twitter. She loves, and when I say spunky, the "I killed the comic industry" tagline is her thing. I think it is dope. She'll tell you, I killed Harley Quinn, I killed Nuclear Family, I killed this, I killed that. I'm killing Boom. Wait for the tweet because it's gonna happen. She's killing Boom in 2022. Issue number 3, right? So we got
let's break down issue number. Do you have the synopsis for issue 3, and then we could give some predictions?
Sure. Let's go right into Diamond. Give me just a second. We'll go right into Diamond. We'll pull up issue. We'll look at. We can look at the covers.
You know where they're killing? Yeah, that's where they're killing it. Also,
we can look at the covers of issue number 3
right now.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's pull up the covers. I'm going to share the screen. We'll pull up the covers of issue number 3. Going to remove that one, and I am going to share.
I'm also anticipating a second print for number 2. Number 2 sold out, so I wouldn't be shocked to see one announced. Maybe not on this FOC, but on the next FOC.
I don't want to do what I did to you the other day and stop this screen and then
and log off.
and log you out.
If you log me out, it's fine. I'll hop back in.
Nah, we don't want to do that. We do not want to do that.
Oh, and we also, in number 2, we had another first appearance with Annabelle, the keeper of the records room.
Right. Good call. Good call.
So, I mean, the first 2 issues, and I mean, the article that Bleeding Cool wrote today, Rich Johnson from Bleeding Cool said he anticipates more first appearances in issue 3. So already we're getting just hit with key after key after key, first appearances everywhere.
So I'm gonna put this on the big. I'm gonna put this on the big boy. So all right, so let's start. Yeah, so they have not. Well, they actually just put the FOC. So let's start. Right, we got the 1 in 25s featuring your boy.
That's gonna be a 1 per store, also, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a 1 per store, and it's gonna be the C cover.
Okay.
So that's the 1 in 25, and we have Jess's excursion to the world of the living yields grave consequences when her boss imposes some intense penalties. However, it will take more than right. However, it will take more than that to keep Jess from breaking the rules, especially with the mystery of why she alone can travel between worlds motivating her. So that was the 1 in 25 cover. These 1 in 10 covers are hands down, since the 1 in 10 of number 2 was the best cover.
I love the 1 in 10 of the number 2. It's incredible.
Yeah, these 1 in 10s are gorgeous.
Yeah, look at that. Woo!
Gorgeous. That's the 1 in 10. And then you have, obviously, here's your C cover. We're just going to go backwards. There's your C cover. They changed up the color of his scythe.
And that's Eddie.
Or sickle. And then here's your foil cover.
Flaviano.
Love these foils. Flaviano cover, which is going to be the B cover as well. Excuse me, the A cover.
That's great.
Yep, that's going to be the A cover, so we don't have to pop up the A cover. And then you're unlockable. And then you're getting the 1 per... Oh, no, it's the FOC reveal.
SF, yeah.
That is the FOC reveal cover. So that cover drops on a Friday. It's the reveal. So you get... That's the 1 per store. Okay. So yeah, you have the reveal cover, cover A, cover B, cover C. 4 covers, the 1 in 10, and then you get the 1 in 25. So yeah. And we just talked about it, right? Like, they put her on punishment, but she refuses to stay in the corner. She refuses to stay standing in the corner.
I think so. It's interesting. Like, so we have the first of the Grim Reaper, but he doesn't speak, but we see him in the beginning. We see him at the end. So could it be a cameo? And we talk about the synopsis for issue 3, her boss Adira, or is her boss the Grim Reaper? So are we going to get the Grim Reaper speaking? Is that going to be the first of the Reaper, the first full? And then the synopsis for issue number 4 is, with her very afterlife at stake, Jessica must confront a dangerous figure, raising questions about her own death. Now a fugitive, Jess needs answers and is running out of options. Luckily, a new, powerful scythe might be the key to deciphering this entire mystery. Is that the scythe of the Grim Reaper? Is that, is this new powerful, entity? Is it the end? I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see. Are we going to get firsts throughout the first 4 issues? Be awesome. And I love this cover because it
marking out
up with.
It's a Simone DeMail.
Yeah.
I'm marking out.
I
am marking out. Like, Simone DeMail, shout out to Simone DeMail. We only find them when they're dead. The artist on that book, so underrated. So we only have the 10 copy incentive available for number 4 and the A and B cover available for number 4.
And it's a mystery Frizen. So do we get Brian, who's that other Reaper with them, who really hasn't been?
Well, there's a cover appearance. He already had his first cover anyway. So
yeah, for Eddie. Are you
on
going to
issue
get
number
Adira
3.
done by Frizen?
I
The
wonder what we're
Reaper?
going to get.
The Reaper done by Frizen? So it's going to be exciting. But I don't know. My prediction moving forward is maybe that new powerful scythe is the Grim Reaper's scythe. Does she have to steal that? Does she have to, go grab it?
Maybe she inherits it. Maybe the Grim Reaper's done with the gig.
Yeah, man. I think it'd be cool.
Like maybe the Grim Reaper's done with the gig. And yeah, so I just went all the way as far as number 5. No, nothing to see there.
Yet.
Nothing to see there. So again, the success of this book, right? Number 1 is now gone back to print as of today, 4th print on FOC. We can assume number 2 will go back to print, probably go back to print twice. We can, I think by the way number 3 was ordered, I can't reorder number 3.
That's interesting.
So I think by the way that number 3 is ordered, it is highly likely. We know Bleeding Cool put out a report that number 3 outsold number 2.
Correct.
Which is an anomaly, right? Normally it's a sliding scale that goes down, right? Yep. Number 1, highest selling. Number 2, a little bit less. Number 3, a little bit less than number 2. But I know we ordered, of the 3 issues, we ordered the least of number 2. Even though aggregate combined, we ordered 1,000 copies of Grimm across 3 issues.
Yeah.
We have some overstock that we chose to keep. Had we not chose to keep it, it would have sold out completely. With the exception of number 3, because number 3 hasn't released yet. But between number 1, number 2, the first print, the second print and the third print, we would have sold out completely. And that's just, we're not really, we're little. You know what I mean? I mean, we do big things, but we are little. Shout out to the comiXsense crowd, community, and crew. Shout out to you all. So we just wanted to do a little 15 to 30 minutes. And here we are.
Full series.
Here we are at the 47-minute mark. Both of us have short boxes full of this book. The Grim Reaper is cashing out his 401k and handing it off to Jessica.
That's a possibility, man.
Is Jessica the daughter of the Grim Reaper? And it's interesting that Chris said that, because I got completely confused, and I would confuse Jessica for Erica, and thus I was thinking of an Erica Slaughter crossover, which is why I went into the James Tynion diatribe about her relationship with James Tynion, and it wouldn't be far-fetched if but now that I really think about what he said, I don't know why I was somewhere else with that, Chris. That would be a great twist. Sam, you said something right. We don't even know that the Grim Reaper is the boss,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, we don't know that he's even he might be just the highest ranking Reaper of those who go out on his side. We don't know that Adira goes out and does the job of reaping, so to speak. Like, we don't know that she does that. And who's the guy that came in to interrupt the conversation, to give her the information about the end? We still have a lot to learn. We've learned a lot over the course of 2 issues. Shout out to @StephSmash. That is Dr. Stephanie Phillips Flaviano, for what is turning out to be a really great book from Boom in 2022.
I love this book. Forward to breaking it down even more as we continue along the journey. Like, this is one of those books I want to continue tracking and, having this conversation with you.
Yeah, we should definitely, after the end of the first arc, come back to this.
Yeah.
And really deep dive the entire arc, now that once we have all of the information, right? Once as much as can be revealed in the first arc is on the table, we should certainly come back to it. So this has been, you have any last words? We can get ready to wrap it up.
Well, if you like this conversation today about Grimm, like and subscribe.
Yes. Yes.
We're going to continue to put out more videos. We might try and make them a little bit shorter. We're working on it, but we just
comiXsams and I like to talk.
Yeah.
We get into these conversations. We like to talk about all of the things. So bear with us. Certainly, we try to get to the point. We try to get you some information, but we like to talk. We like to kick it. That having been said, listen, go to the comiXsense YouTube page, like, thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe. If you are watching on YouTube for the first time, peep the scroll at the bottom of this video. Like and follow comiXsense on Facebook. Join our Facebook group. Dope community. comiXsams.
Oh, I think you froze.
That came.
There you are.
We appreciate everyone that came to hang out with us tonight. Props to you all. comiXsams. I'm going to give you a word and we're going to get up out of here.
Appreciate you all. I had fun. Let's continue to make it a grim 2022.
So this has been a Shop Talk presented by comiXsense. Your host, comiXsams. I am Issue X. Y'all know what time it is. Double fingers.